Sorry for a little bit of delay we're having getting everything set up. My name is Kate Wolfe. I'm a professor in the Behavioral and Social Sciences Department at Hostos Community College. I teach psychology. And I'm going to turn it over to my co-presenter to give me to the first part and let him introduce himself.
Okay, yeah, Poma. I'm the coordinator of student services at Hostos Community College. And welcome to the Bronx Ed Tech. I know it's a rainy day and we were able to get here, but you know, good to have you here today. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about Panopto. And I'm just going to give you a brief history of what, the process that we started. We wanted to get a lecture capture system for the college. So we went out and we looked at different solutions, and we actually got people involved. We formed a committee to actually look at different products, and finally we decided that Panopto will be the solution for us in Hostos Community College. One of the main reasons that we got to that decision is that it's fully integrated with Blackboard, so students don't need to get to another login information. They don't need to have another password. So that is something good about it. And the other thing is that we like that the system is so friendly and it's really easy to use. So in 5 minutes, you can actually start recording. So what we did, we actually called for a participation. We got some faculty involved, and we have about 10 faculty involved in this initiative. So we set up some meetings and trainings. The first one was to, how do we do this? This is the first time we're going to use this system, so how do we do this, right? So we had sessions in which faculty will come in and they will actually explore ways that they can actually record do the recordings. And then the best practice, because just do a recording is not really going to help you unless you tie with it with best practices. And of course, the support. The Office of Educational Technology has been very supportive of this project, and we actually send out college assistants and interns to go and help out on the day of the recordings. So those recordings will come out as good as we can. So and then Professor Wolfe will talk about the experiences. So this is some of the uses that that you can do with Panopto. The first one is video content management. That means you can have a video from any source, and then you can just upload it into Panopto, and the students can have instant access to it in Blackboard. So how good is that? The other one is you can actually have a recording for your class, right? Just like we're doing right now, you can just hit record and you can record your whole class. The other model is the flipped classroom model. You can actually sit down with one of us in our place or maybe in your office, and then you can just have a 3-minute recording and then just upload it into Blackboard. And the students will just go and review the materials before class. Another good thing that we saw is the lab demonstrations. Sometimes faculty, they are in the labs and they may want to record some steps about something that they are doing on that day. So they actually record it very easily. They could do it with an iPad, they could do it with an iPhone, and then they just upload it again into the cloud. And they can also, if they are in a smart classroom setting, they can actually record in using a smart class, a smart software in a smart classroom. So at the beginning, we got some hardware to do this because not necessarily those smart rooms at Hostos had all the hardware that we needed, so we had to get some. Like we got the blue snowflake that some faculty use. We got the blue snowball, which has a good quality of reception. And then we just got this one, the Magic Voice Tracker. And that one is the best microphone we could find. So it's really, it's about $350, but it really does the job of recording. Then the other two that we got is we just got a video HD webcam, which is that. This is something that we just are exploring, and you can see it here live, right? Because we are actually recording this presentation using Panopto, and we're using this swivel robot. What this does, it actually follows me wherever I go. If you look at the iPad, it's actually recording while I'm moving. So that means you can have freedom to go all the way to the back of the room if you want to, and the microphone is right here, the one that I'm holding, right? Also the receiver for the swivel. Okay, so this is just another way of recording. And of course, you can use an iPhone or an iPad. That's an example of a lab demonstration that I was mentioning before. Well, we're going to have to skip that part because one of the plugins is not installed on this laptop. Okay, but we'll show you eventually, and we'll get to that. The last thing that we're going to do after we go through this semester, we're going to do some kind of assessment, right? We want to see how students are benefiting with this new platform, if they are actually really watching those recordings, right? Because one thing is to actually record, and the other part is that the students are really seeing. The other one is the faculty will submit a final report. We want to know how friendly this system is for them, right? If it's actually useful for them, and also the availability in Blackboard, which makes it a really good thing, right? Because they don't have to go anywhere else. Now, we're going to do a study at the end. Also, we're going to compare some sections that are not necessarily using Panopto in their classes with sections that use Panopto, and see what kind of differences we can see between the two classes. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Professor Wolfe.
Wow, I put too much stuff on that slide. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a social psychologist, so I am interested in lots of topics regarding pedagogy and also quantitative reasoning and attitudes towards sexual minorities. I have a wide kind of range of interests. And I typically teach a hybrid course or an online course in a semester, and sometimes both in the same semester. So I consider myself fairly technological savvy. But, you know, my experiences with Panopto may show that I'm not quite as good as I thought I was. And I'm also the faculty liaison to the Hostos Educational Technology Department and coordinator of our online learning assessment efforts, a new role I've just taken on. So that's a little bit about me, so you get to know where I'm coming from. This semester, I was one of the faculty participants in our Panopto pilot, and I was trying to make recordings of lectures in my hybrid classes. I was teaching psychology of women, 2 sections of it. And I was provided with an intern on the first couple of days that I was trying this, and helped me get it set up, get used to how we set it up and where the camera should go, and those kinds of technical things. And that was very, very helpful. I would definitely applaud the Ed Tech department for providing interns to the faculty who needed it. Also, my voice isn't all that loud, and I know that. And so when I walk away from a microphone, that's not a good thing. And I tend not to stay put up here by the podium in the classroom. So for me, that became an issue, and trying to capture my voice, I think, became an issue. So I got to use the big magic voice tracker microphone, which was helpful. This is the first time I've tried the swivel, so I'm excited about actually being able to hold the microphone. So maybe my voice will be better on this recording than it typically is. And you didn't get to hear the one recording of mine that he was going to show you, but maybe we could make that work. I don't know. So after participating in this, I'm like, well, what should faculty maybe think about before they participate in the Panopto pilot, or think about using Panopto in their classrooms? Because maybe it's not the right system for everybody. Although we might find different uses for it, depending on our differences in teaching style and those kinds of things. So first of all, you need a smart room. If you don't have a smart room, I don't know how you would do this. You would have to use an iPhone or an iPad, and I think it would be a lot more difficult to get good recordings if you don't have a smart room. What's your teaching style? Do you stay close to the podium and lecture? Do you use PowerPoint slides or extensive internet use when you're teaching? I mean, it makes it easier if you've got a PowerPoint going and you're walking the students through it. I don't tend to do that, so that's maybe a difference in my teaching style. I like to have more discussion-oriented classes, especially when I'm teaching an advanced course like Psychology of Women, and less lecture classes. And how do you feel about seeing yourself or hearing yourself? Because you have to watch the videos before you put them up for the students. I don't like to see myself on video. I don't like to hear my voice at all. So this is one of the most difficult aspects for me. And I'm a psychologist, you know, you gotta be able to get over it. But no, not at all. So that's something you should consider, and I think that's an important point that maybe you wouldn't think about unless you're actually doing it. So I started out with the cons perspective because I don't want you to think I'm completely against this system. I'm not, but I didn't want to end on anything negative because I think it's a great system that we just have to find the right use for us individually. So I don't use PowerPoints for my lectures. I tried it, and I tried to stay with the podium, and I just felt really stiff and unnatural, and that's not the way I teach. For some classes, I've been teaching for 16 years, and I just know what I'm going to say, and I can know where I can take the class if it turns a different way, especially like general psychology, the introductory course. I don't need PowerPoints for that, and I would be very boring if I taught with those, I think. So that's just my style. I stray away. I haven't today because I've got it in my hand and I've got a robot following me. But I do tend to walk around the room and walk and see what the students are doing and make sure they're on task, make sure they're actually listening to me. I hope I can tell that when I walk by them. I use more discussions in my advanced courses. A couple of times I forgot the camera because we don't have cameras in the smart room, so you have to bring the camera. And so I get to class and I'd be like, oh, I forgot the camera. So I couldn't make a recording. So that's just one of those little things you don't think about. But when I'm getting ready for class, I like try to put everything in my briefcase. And then I'm like, oh, the camera. So, you know, you got to remember that. You also have to remember to disconnect and take with you your microphone, your camera, anything else that you're using that has a flash attachment, kind of a flash drive kind of attachment. So that's important. Also, if you make a long recording, like for your entire class session, it takes longer to process, and it needs to finish processing before you walk away and log off the computer. And so sometimes you have to wait for it, and then the other instructor is trying to come in at the end of class. And so that can be an issue if you do a really long recording. But the Educational Technology Department suggests that we do a recording for about a shorter recording, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, and then we stop it, and maybe do another short recording, so it's not like the entire class period. So that's something to get used to as well. So the pros, the advantages of using Panopto. Students can use the recorded lectures for review whenever they want, and I love this idea that they can just go online, watch it. If they've missed class, it's great, or it's great if they are reviewing for an exam or a final exam. If you have a totally asynchronous course, your online students can benefit from actually seeing you and hearing you talk about a concept that maybe they're having difficulty with. I think that's really important, especially in the introductory courses. And so I really like that idea. The technology is not difficult at all. The difficulty is in, seeing yourself, watching the videos, making sure that you bring the camera, making sure you get a good recording yourself, and kind of being proactive with the technology. Students could use oral presentations just like we're doing right now. It's easy to set up and it's easy to use, so students can use it, and that's important. And I had help with the interns. I think I would use it more like the flip model, where I make my recordings at home or in my office, and then put them up on the Blackboard for the students, and or I would just use them for my online students so that they can see me talk about a concept like correlational research, which is difficult to grasp sometimes. And so that takes care of that slide. And it's good, I think, if you use PowerPoint and you use the web a lot in the classroom, because you can record the PowerPoint as well as your voice while you're doing it, and you can also record yourself. You can see everything while you're doing it, and you would have seen that if we'd shown the video. So there's lots of good uses for Panopto. And we'll open it for questions now. Yes.
I just want to be clear, I understand how you used it in this pilot, that you basically just recorded yourself lecturing to your in-person class.
Yes.
And then they could access the lectures later. You had some other platform that they could go online and access the
They can
Blackboard?
access them from Blackboard.
Okay. And then did you also use the same lectures in a fully online class?
No, because I don't teach this class fully online. So this semester was a unique semester for me, in that I had extra release time, so I only had the 2 sections of Psychology of Women, and they were both hybrid, so we're partially online. But I didn't have any totally asynchronous classes this semester.
And so did you record the entire 75 minutes and just post it, or did you record the whole thing and edit, or did you just record it in pieces, which seems like that would be also awkward to try to do in a live class?
I tried to record the whole session because I didn't want to stop and start.
Right.
Occasionally I had trouble with the internet connectivity in the classroom, so it would stop on me. Like a couple of times that happened, or a couple of times I couldn't log on to the server. There were some issues there. But I didn't really get any great recordings. So that's why I'm saying I think I would like to use it when I'm not in front of the classroom. It actually makes me a lot more self-conscious and a lot more nervous. I made a little video for an introduction to an online class, and I realized how nervous I was, just me and the camera, and I'm like, okay, this is not good. So that's the way I used it. I didn't actually get them up for the students, but they would access them through Blackboard because I wasn't happy with what I got. Yeah. And there was one hand in the back too, I think.
It kind of builds on a point Jennifer was just making about starting with stopping during the live courses. I'm wondering how often would you go over stop it and restart it, because you looked earlier that the file has to process at the end. If you stop it and then restart it, does that first kind of chunked recording start processing to getting smaller pieces?
The time that takes to switch from one recording to another one is just pretty much seamless, because everything is done on the background, right? Something is actually recorded on the temporary on the computer, and then after the class is over and all of the recordings are done, then everything is uploaded into Panopto directly.
It also struck me that if you had these smaller chunks, if you did it as you were some kind of natural flow with what you were lecturing about, you could almost build a library that you can reuse in a lot of other courses.
Definitely, and that's what some faculty are aiming to do that. Yes.
So you said that you do a lot of discussion in class. Did you record the discussions, and did you run into how to get permissions from the students in order to upload those videos?
I didn't record discussions. We wouldn't be able to hear all the student comments if we recorded the discussions unless we had like this
Right.
robot. So the other microphones you can't hear the student voices. So I didn't see the purpose of doing that, but I don't think we would need to get student permission, or maybe at the beginning
Yeah,
of class
we need to. We need to get,
say
yeah,
like,
right.
this is what we're going to do this semester in this course occasionally, and so we're going to record you. If you have an objection to that, please let me know.
Yeah.
Something like that, where they could give oral permission, or they, I guess we
No,
should
actually,
we could develop an informed consent.
actually, we do have a form for that. Yeah, we do have a form. Yes. Yeah. Anybody else?
So the processing time, is it, how long are we talking about? You did a 60 minutes lecture or something. How long does it take to process that? Is it a very lengthy period of time?
It all depends with the how fast is the internet connection at that point, but on average, say, right, maybe a 60 minutes would be 3 to 5 minutes to do the whole process and be available to students right in there, because you don't need to do anything else. You record and it's available to students right after the process is done.
You lose the internet connection, you have to start it over again?
No.
You can
No.
come right back in.
Yeah. The program automatically gets that information back whenever you connect it to the internet and start the process again.
Hi. Who will have access to the videos? Only the students that are registered for the class?
Yes.
Oh.
And anybody that you want, because you can actually share this with anybody.
Oh.
But primarily it's for students that are registered on the class. Yeah.
You've been talking about how it saves the files. I was wondering if it saves actual video files, and if so, what?
It does anything in Blackboard. Everything is saved in Panopto.
Okay.
Right? We just have a connection to Blackboard.
Would you be able to have like an actual, like download an actual file on your computer?
Yeah.
Like that?
Oh yes, definitely. And the flexibility of actually getting those recordings and do whatever you need to do is there. You can just download it. You can put it in YouTube. You can iTunes, so on and so forth. It's very flexible.
So does Panopto also own rights to the videos, or are the rights to the video exclusively yours?
As far as I know, it's our property.
The videos are actually living on the Panopto server.
That's correct. That's correct.
There's a tool in Blackboard called Panopto that you can use.
Yeah.
Make sure it's on the Blackboard.
And in terms of student use, if it was an online course and you wanted students to, say, do a video introduction, would they be able to just access Panopto through Blackboard, video themselves using the computer camera, and then post it in Blackboard?
If you give them that right, yes, they can actually do it right in there. Yes.
I think we might have time for one last question. So
Can you stop and start recording from the device you have in your hand, or do you have to actually go over to the recording device and stop?
In this case, we have to go to the iPad and stop it. Yeah.
it looks like we're out of time. So we got lots of great questions.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.